Christopher here with an apology in that the recording of yesterday's webinar was a bit bungled, didn't get the file, so I recorded a second recording, just going through all the things that I had done. It's going to be probably a little bit more streamlined. It's certainly shorter. It's only about 20 minutes, and sadly it doesn't have everyone's interaction or participation. But again, that's what the Padlet is for on the website, so you'll see many places on the video that will show you how to get to the Padlet, or show you where the Padlet is at the website. So I hope you can use that, and I hope you find this video to be helpful, even though it's not the full webinar. I would like to thank NYS TESOL, the Technology SIG, Drs. Becker and Rosalia for setting everything up and helping with this. And of course, I encourage you to become an NYS TESOL member for watching this video, either on our YouTube channel or at nystesol.org. You can find all of those links also on my website. So good luck and thank you, and we'll get started. To a website for every class. The website, the URL for this, for you to get back, is tinyurl.com/tech10gs. Again, that's highlighted here, tinyurl.com/tech10gs. Copy that, share it with whoever you like. You can use that to get back to this website, to use all the examples that are here. And so if you wanted to follow along even while I'm doing this video, you could just go to the website in another video using this URL. Or to get here quickly, you can use the QR code that we see over here, and pointing your phone at that or pointing a friend's phone at that will enable you to share the site quickly or get back here very quickly. For more on using QR codes, I have some videos attached, not mine, just that I found on YouTube. More on how to use QR codes, you can click underneath. And then on the other side, of course, we have the QR for following me on Twitter. I have a teacher linked account there, and I would be happy if you followed me there. I should be tweeting more. Maybe this is a good reminder to me to put a couple extra tweets on there. Anyway, welcome to a website for every class. Here's how you get here. Here's how you get around. The home page is the main page. It has most of the information. The discussion page links to a Padlet that I would like everyone to use. This website has been made mostly with the support of New York State TESOL, so if you're interested, you could always find out more about New York State TESOL on their YouTube channel, or become a New York State TESOL member, option to you. And I use the Padlet for other things, like this technology survey. That's the survey that's linked on the homepage. You'll see it in a moment, but if you click here, it'll take you to the questionnaire, and the results are linked automatically by clicking here on the preview. If you have other questions, please add them in the appropriate columns. If you have questions about the tech survey, questions about Google for Education, questions about Google Sites, other questions and discussion, you can add those here on the Padlet. Anything related to New York State TESOL, contacting me if you would like a template of a site of your own. We'll come back to that. If you're looking for videos of these webinars, such as this video, those will be placed also on the Padlet in addition to where you're finding it. And then these are some future topics for seminars that I would like to conduct. If you have other ideas or things that you might want to hear about or things like that, please don't hesitate to use the discussion section of the Padlet. So, back to the home screen. Website for every class. What are we up to today? Today's agenda will be as follows. You can click on this page. I have welcomed you and told you how to get around. We will talk about some of the resources that were already here. We've actually done that pretty much. You can see how they were all laid out on the Padlet. And I've given a webinar already using this site. If you would like more of that information, you can actually come to the agenda page and click here. That will take you to a video, which again is linked through the Padlet. I wanted to give another webinar on Google Sites training because the Google Sites training has been updated by Google. So if we click on this overview of Google Sites training, that will take us here onto the website, right, which is again just below. If we started here, website for every class, the agenda you could click on, The advantages for using a website for every class are the same as they always were, that it's accessible, everyone can get it, you don't need to sign on, it's private, you can share it like any Google Doc, it's efficient, you just copy and paste, you can live your life, it's easy for students and teachers, and it's paperless, which again is a moral value, an aesthetic value. This technology video here, I recommend that you look at it on your own. I'm not going to play videos during this video because it's going to take away time, and so you can decide to pause now and click on this on the website or not. It is about why the internet is a great thing, and we should all feel that way. The survey, equally, I'm not going to take time out of the video for this, but I would recommend that all of you take the survey. Just it's a general interest survey for me. It's interesting to see what your peers say, and you can have the results. You can see them on the spreadsheet, again, by using the Padlet right over here, technology survey. So, before we really start in earnest, note that Google offers more training and free training. I'm just offering some examples of how I use these sites. I am a Google certified educator, and if you would like to join me in learning more about Google and things like that, you can go through the Teacher Center, which is actually right here, and you can choose training for with Google for Education. It is free. The courses last several sets of hours, like I'd say maybe like 10 or 12 hours per of modules if you really go all the way through them. If you know things, you can skip around, you can see what you know, what you don't know. You could skip directly to the tests. The tests are 3 hours if you feel that you really know, but the tests do cost money. So the test nominal fee, I think, is like $10 or $20 per test. It takes about 3 hours to test yourself, and when you're done with the testing, you are a certified Google educator. Level 1, fundamental. Level 2, advanced. This has something to do with Google Sites, but not entirely. It's not just Google Sites. So, if we are looking for more training that way, I recommend this link here, Welcome to Your First Day at Google Sites. That takes you to a video about Google Sites, which we see here, a PDF, which we'll take a look at in a minute, and then a set of tips and tricks. How to create buttons, how to create pages, how to create sub-pages, how to have image carousels, collapsible text boxes, version history, usage, changing the favicon, and then even more extra help and extra credit. They offer you a full set of training and tutorial on Google Sites. That is available just by clicking here on my website. Again, coming in from the top, QR code in, you scroll down a little bit, and you click right here on Welcome to Your First Day. That's how you can take a look. But this PDF covers all the basics of Google Sites. It's just recently released, and you can go through the whole thing. It talks about step-by-step how to get started, what do the menus mean, what are all the icons, what are all of these things. We can pause briefly and see, text boxes, images, embed, drives, layouts, table of contents, all of these menu items and things like that. Stuff that we covered in a little bit in the previous webinar that, again, is linked via video, but this is a much more comprehensive training in everything you can possibly do on Google Sites. If you have Google Classroom, they do talk about that briefly as well. So, Google for Education training, the PDF with everything, all of that can be accessed here on this site, and you might want to do that before you go through some of the more advanced things. They also have a YouTube channel, which is cheerful. We'll stop that. But they have a YouTube channel with all sorts of tutorials and things like that related to things you can use in Google for Education. So, the very basics of how you can start your own site I have listed as my website as well. I have a quick video here that we can kind of watch in the background, but that we don't need to spend too much time on. This is how I sign in at the new school with my single sign-on, but anyone can use their Gmail account. If you don't have a Gmail account, click on this to make a new Gmail account, and then you're ready to begin. So you'll see this happening in the window to the side. Don't be too distracted. The steps to building a site are signing in with Google, as you see that happening now. You will go to the Google sign-in, you offer your credentials, and then you go to sites.google.com/new. So we can skip right to that. And that will take you to your Google Sites. sites that you have already created. If you have none, then it will be blank. In the bottom corner, there is a little red circle, or maybe a colored circle, like with a rainbow, and you click on that, and your new site is there. Right? You just click on it, and as soon as you do, the new site pops up, and you're ready to go. Right? You have name your site, you get going, you can immediately see the menus and things that have popped up over there. I recommend that you publish your site as quickly as you can. This kind of bluish purple button that says publish up here, you can kind of see it behind the watch later. But when you publish your site, then you have an address. Then you can go to a URL shortener and shorten that address so that people can see it. And then you go to a QR code generator, and your site will be accessible to everyone. So more information about QR codes and things like that. So again, that is what you can find at the Google Sites training. Now I'd like to hit on an advanced technique that I've not covered before, using hidden pages. How can you put hidden pages onto your website in an effective way, and how are some ways that I've done this before? Well, when I taught at the new school for a reading class, it was a kind of involved class dealing with environmental themes and a lot of different reading. We had different manga, we had a lot of different things going on. And so at some point, I wanted to make sure my group projects, which were also websites that the students were making, so I was having my students make websites, I wanted to make sure I could assess them and look at all the assessment on the website right in one place. So I had the assessment at a glance page that gave me a bird's eye view of the grading on all their assignments, and I could keep things like a grade sheet, access to students' work, access to grading rubrics, and things like that. So I thought I would make a page like this for you. I thought I would make a page like this for you, for everyone. So I made a sample hidden assessment page with everything kind of stripped away. So this is an example of a hidden assessment page. This is what it would just look like to you. You notice this is on the same site, a website for every class, that we have been on all this time. You just couldn't access it from the menu. So you'd go and get to the home page, the discussion page, the video page, but a hidden assessment page was not accessible because the page is hidden from navigation. It begins with a table of contents, which you could always insert. This goes to each heading. So attendance goes to attendance, and you see right here, grading sheet goes to the grading sheet. The rubrics, if you click that, it takes you to the rubrics, and you can see the kinds of things that I have placed on this hidden assessment page. They include a sample attendance form, right, which also has an attendance key if you're wondering what those letters mean, but that's just Google's sample attendance form. A grading spreadsheet, which is actually a spreadsheet that I used for the particular class. I've just changed all the names and all the information and randomized the grades so that you're not seeing any students' actual grades, but you can see how I have put a grading spreadsheet inside of the website, and I can take a look at it, and I can manipulate it and go through it either on the site or pop out to that spreadsheet by clicking in the pop-out window. Same is true for rubrics. So the students were divided into groups. Here I have, for example, 2 groups. And in one group, you could look at the rubric, which again is also a spreadsheet. That, using the magic of Google Spreadsheets, I had the rubric translated into Chinese and Korean. And then I also have examples of student work linked in that rubric. So this is an example of an excellent student website, so that when my students are looking at the rubric, pardon, that requires me to sign in. When my students are looking at the rubric, they can see something that was really good, a good site, good example of student work. She had rated some of her readings. She had put in little descriptions and designs for different parts of the book. And written summaries with pictures of the book and things like that. So I thought this was a really good symbol. Here we had vocabulary, multimedia, contrast between the movie and the book. So the pages are full of a good deal of information, and that was offered to my students as a good example of an excellent right? There are links here for all of the different levels of rubric, and that's all present inside the rubric, which is then also present on my hidden assessment page. So I can look at these rubrics all in one place after I evaluate them. You could also include a submitted papers folder, a link to student sites folder, a place with exam templates. These are Google Drive folders. They connect to Google Drive. And then anything that gets submitted into this folder in Google Drive will automatically appear on your, see, so here are student papers there. So if that drive is open for students to submit papers, those things would be listed here, and you would see them there. Here is an example of a template for an exam that I included here so that all of my assessment needs could be kept here, hidden from the view of students, and present just for me. How do we make this page? How do we get to the hidden page? We can take a look at the behind the scenes editing version of the site. So now I would have gone to the regular main page and clicked on the edit this page. And among the pages that we have the home page, a page labeled your grade, which could be an example of a student grade page, the agenda page, which as you notice was not on the navigation. You could only find it because I included the link here. So secret hidden pages can be linked in other ways and in other places, or they can be kept completely outside. And the example of the hidden assessment page, we can get to it now because we're behind the scenes in the editor phase. And again, this works well for collaboration in that when I share this with other versions of myself, all of these other accounts that are not me right now, but me freelance, my personal account, my school account, my library account when I work at the public library, all of these different people or accounts are collaborators, and all of them can see the secret pages. So you could collaborate with other teachers, with administrators, or even with students to share and collaborate on hidden pages that are not public, right? So again, you see back here all the things that were added in. They're all there. These are different modules that just get added in by typing insert, and then you can choose from Drive, or you could choose different sheets or different docs, right? You hit Google Docs, and all of your recent Google Docs come up on the corner, and then you just, here is, the paper that was submitted, a copy of the template, and that's how those things just get added into this hidden page that is kept out of sight, as we can see on the main website. We have no ability going through all these pages, moving around to see where those hidden sites are. This is just the main site of the web page, and this is only available if you get a specific link or if you are in the editing version and listed as an owner or an editing collaborator, right? Edit. And again, it would be great to talk about how the sharing permissions work in perhaps a future seminar, but that is the way you would use a hidden page. And these are all the things that you could potentially put in it, along with all the other things that you see here in the menu. All right, so back to the agenda. We have covered all these items. If you come back here, you can click through these, except for any questions or discussions that you would have on the Padlet. I recommend that you use the Padlet for this, mostly because this is being recorded and I'm not always having a chance to interact with everyone directly. So if you have a question, I would put your questions in here. We can look at some of the questions that have appeared there, like, is it, from your experience, is there any order that you're going to build the website in? And I say that it's best to start with the URL shortener and the QR code, and then start adding what you need according to your class. You need to add a calendar so that students can see everything, and then from there adding the content. Again, it's going to be very class specific. As I said, templates are available, and if you put your information in this column under please send me a copy of the site, you just hit plus, and then you type in your email. I would be happy to send you a template of my own. Which would look like this. We're going to take a quick look at the template that I am offering. This template is a blank template in the sense that my name is not there, no class is there. You could put your own social media link, Twitter, the other guys. Your URL shortener name could go here. Your own QR code could go here. In fact, if you follow this QR code, it takes you to a QR code generator. You would put the name of the class and then all the things you would need. You can just update those things on your own, putting in your own notifications. There's some sample content. You can use it if you like. You can throw it out if you like. You don't need to use these things. Videos, things like that. On the homework page, there are some sample homework assignments. For the first homework assignment, you would be adding more according to your class. In the Google Calendar, the class calendar page, there's a video on how to embed a calendar on a Google site. That comes directly from a certified trainer. And then in the class community, I usually recommend embedding some sort of Padlet or some sort of discussion board or a blog or comment box. You have some options on how to do that linked to the template. On the documents page, there are some videos on how to embed a drive or folders or things like that. So it's really worth taking a look. About your instructor, you would want to have your own bio that you would place here. You could put your name, you can change this picture, you could put your own image here, adding your biographical information, and then your website, is personalized for you and your class. I find that students really like having some sort of access to me in the sense that they see kind of the things that I am doing. They can see my email. They can see my portfolio and other things. Like I'll take you down to my bio actually. When we come back to Website for Every Class, the main page, we can see the free training that I discussed, how to start your own website, and then again on the main page of the site. And here's my bio as promised. In it you can find my email, the link to the discussion board, and just below it my teaching portfolio at cnazzaro.com. And that brings us to the end of this webinar. Thank you so much. Remember, you can use these resources at any time. Thanks again to New York State TESOL for sponsoring, and I hope to see you again sometime soon.